Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. It's me, Nita, and today I'm going to be using my PE800 to embroider a monster truck design to make a baby blanket. So I'm going to show you from start to finish how I use my PE800 to embroider designs onto minky fabric, and I'm also going to show you how I use my brother's sewing machine to create a baby blanket. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you all the supplies that I'll be using to create this baby blanket. So first thing that you will need is some minky fabric. I'm going to use this fabric to do the embroidered design on. And then for the back of the blanket, I'm going to be using this adorable monster truck fabric. I'm actually making this blanket for my son for his birthday that's coming up here in September. He's turning 2 years old, and currently right now his favorite obsession is with cars and monster trucks. So I like to make birthday gifts and personalized gifts for my loved ones. So I thought that because he's so obsessed with cars right now, that I would make him a monster truck blanket. Another supply that you will need is some applique with heat and bond on the back. So I'm using the red for the monster truck. I'm using this black polka dot fabric for the wheels. Some other supplies that you'll need is some tearaway stabilizer and then a different assortment of embroidery threads. Something else that I'll be using that's really, really important to be able to even do this embroidered design is my Brother PE800. I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. So here is my Brother PE800. I'm going to be using a 5x7 hoop. I'll be also using just a simple Brother sewing machine. The sewing machine that I have is a Runway series, and I've had this actually for a very, very, very long time. I'm actually due for a new sewing machine, but this bad boy is still holding up very nicely, so I'll be using this sewing machine. And then here is the design that I'll be embroidering onto the minky fabric. So I do apologize for the noise. I have 2 kids under 2, so you will be hearing a lot of noise in the background. My kids are currently in the front room with their father, so they're going to be hearing a lot of noise because of that. So if you don't want to hear it, then I suggest you go find another video to watch because they're going to be making a lot of noise. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that you'll really need to do is go ahead and prep all your materials. I already prepped my applique fabric. I already cut the minky fabric and the flannel fabric to the dimensions that I need for the baby blanket. I cut the minky and I cut the flannel fabric to 36 by 42, and then the minky fabric, you want to kind of cut it a little bit larger than the flannel fabric because it does stretch and shift and move around. So I cut the minky fabric 37 by 43 inches. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and hoop the minky fabric. I did use one of these that came with the machine to mark my points, so I make sure that the embroidered design is straight and not crooked and centered with the fabric. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but I did use an air erase marker to draw my points so I know where to line up the hoop. So I'm going to take 2 layers of tearaway stabilizer. I'm going to put that on the very back. And then I'm going to loosen my hoop. This piece is going to go underneath the minky fabric, and then this piece is going to go on top. So my design is going this way, so I'm going to make sure that my hoop is positioned this way. And on your little hoop, you can actually see that it has these little points right here. That's going to help you line it up, but you could also use, you can also stick this on there to help you line it up as well. I'm going to go ahead and tighten the hoop. I am going to pull the minky a little bit because you do want the minky to be a little bit tight, not too tight, because you don't want to distort the embroidered image. Okay, so it's all nice and hooped. Now I just need to hook it up to my machine. Okay, so when you hoop it, you want to make sure that none of the fabric is underneath the hoop. So I always like to double check everything, make sure the fabric that's not hoop is out of the way. So everything's hooped down, ready to go. Now I just need to upload my embroidered design. So my embroidered design is on the next page. So I'm going to use these arrow buttons. And there is my monster truck design. I'm going to press set. And as you can see, it's right there. So as you can see, it shows you exactly what it's going to stitch out. It's going to go ahead and do the placement stitch for the truck. So I have my presser foot down, and all I need to do now is press the green button, and it's going to go ahead and stitch out the truck design. So you guys can't really see it, but there is a design. I always like to use a dark colored thread so you can see exactly where the placement stitch was placed down. So I took off the back piece of the applique, so you should have the heat and bond on the back side of your fabric. Now you're gonna go ahead and place the fabric down. It's flat, and you're gonna go ahead and press the green button, and it will do the tack down stitch. So now it's all done stitching that out. So I'm going to lift up my presser foot again, unhoop it, and then I'm going to use scissors to cut around the stitched out design. Okay, so here it is all cut out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and rehoop it. Or actually I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on the machine. It's already hooped. Again, you want to check it and make sure there's no fabric underneath the hoop. Okay, put my presser foot down. Now I'm going to use my black fabric for the wheels. Remember to take off that white piece. I'm actually really happy I had this black fabric because it's near impossible right now to find any black fabric. So I'm happy that I do have a little bit of this black polka dot fabric. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut around and cut off all this extra fabric. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch out my thread color now. I'm actually really excited to give him this blanket because he's been eyeballing this flannel fabric, and I think he's gonna be really excited once he sees like the final design. So I'm really excited to actually give him this for a gift. I feel like handmade gifts are like one of the best type of gifts to give somebody. That's why I love owning an Etsy shop and being able to do personalized gifts, because there's just something about a personalized gift, in my opinion. One thing that I hate about single needle machines is that when it needs to switch a color, you have to undo the thread and redo the thread with a different color. Okay, so now it says on this design that it's going to do like the shocks. I think that's what they're called. And I'm going to actually, I think I'm gonna make them pop a little bit, so I'm gonna use like this navy blue. So far it looks good. So whenever I'm embroidering, I don't really ever leave my machine unattended, because I feel like every time I do leave it unattended, something always happens to it and messes up the whole design. So unfortunately, when you have one of these machines, you kind of have to sit with it. Okay, so far that I'm noticing from this part of the design, part of the minky fabric is popping through the stitches. So once it's done stitching out this portion, I'm actually gonna go back over it one more time with a second layer of satin stitches. So I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but I can see part of the minky fabric sticking out. So I'm gonna go ahead and redo that part. So if you ever need to go back and restitch part of the design, I always go right here to the little plus or minus button. So I will go back like 100 stitches and keep pressing it until I notice the needle back to the original start of this design. So it's right there. I need it to go all the way back. Oops, that's too too far, so I'm gonna do +10, +10, and then boom, it's right there where I need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and press start, and it's gonna go back over that design. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it very well on the camera, but it looks way better. I don't see any of the minky fabric popping through. So I'm gonna go ahead and just continue with the embroidered design. And again, if I notice that the minky fabric is still continuing to pop through, I'll just put down a layer of stabilizer. Okay, so I keep noticing that the minky fabric keeps popping through, so I'm just gonna put a layer of this water-soluble stabilizer on top, and I just use packing tape to keep it in place. No, I hate when this happens. The bobbin thread's almost empty, so now I just have to take this design off the machine and fill my bobbin really fast. Okay, we're back in business. No, we're not. Actually, it says rethread. Why are you doing this to me? Okay guys, so here is the finished product of the embroidered monster truck. I love how it turned out. This was super easy to do. So my next step is I need to take my minky fabric and pin it to the monster truck fabric. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that next. Okay guys, so before I get started on pinning this blanket, I just want to share with you guys, I just started selling on eBay like 2 days ago. I have a bunch of Disney fabric that I bought that's custom printed, and I just uploaded it like 2 days ago, and I've already sold like 5 items already, so I'm super stoked that I barely even started on eBay and I'm already seeing success. So I'm super happy about that, and it makes me want to add more items to my eBay because man, I'm surprised that I sold out so fast on eBay. So I'm really happy about that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started on pinning. I have the monster truck fabric face down, and I have the minky fabric faced up. I always put the minky fabric on the bottom because when I sew it, I'm going to be sewing with the flannel fabric on top. So I have it all laid out on my island, and I'm going to use just basic pins. And I'm going to first pin the edges all the way around, and then in the middle of the blanket I'm going to do pins about 1 inch apart from each other. And when you're working with minky fabric, you want to use a lot of pins, because if you don't, the fabric will shift around and get all crooked and messed up, and it won't be even. So use as many pins as you can. So again, I'm going to pin all the way around, and then I'm going to pin in the middle by putting pins 1 inch away from each other. Okay guys, so like I said earlier, I pin all along the sides, and then in the middle of the blanket I do about 1 inch, maybe 2 inches apart, And now it's all pinned, and now it's ready for me to take it to my brother's sewing machine.
Okay guys, so I just got done finishing sewing the perimeter of the blanket. So now basically I'm going to take out all the pins, and I left like a little 5-inch gap, so I'm going to flip the blanket inside out, and then I'll show you guys what I'm going to do next. So here's the little hole that I left. I honestly should have did it bigger, but that's okay, I can still fit my hand in it. Sorry for the noise, my husband is actually cooking dinner right now, and my 2 boys are in the kitchen with me, so if it's loud, I'm sorry. So yeah, I definitely should have made the hole bigger. It's actually really hard to pull it through this hole. So now I'm going to take a little chopstick and go ahead and poke out the corners of the blanket. Alright, so basically now what I'm going to do is I need to iron my applique design because of the heat and bond. So I need to iron that, and then I'm actually going to flip it over and iron all along the edges, and then I'm going to take it back to my sewing machine and sew along the edges again. I'm going to sew about 1/4 of an inch away from the edges, and you want to make sure that you close up that hole that you left open. So I know I was ironing on my island. I currently don't have an ironing board, so I just gotta work with what I got right now. So now it's all ironed and it's pressed. Now I'm gonna go ahead, take it back to the sewing machine, and I'll officially be done with the blanket. I'll show you guys what it looks like once I'm done. Okay, so I'm all done with the blanket. So basically now what I'm gonna do, this blanket's for my son, but I am gonna be uploading this style of blanket to my Etsy shop and to my website. So I actually need to take product photos of this blanket. So I fold it a certain way when taking the product photos, and then I use this backdrop. So I DIY'd this backdrop. Basically I just use a really thin piece of plywood and just use some contact paper. I use some contact paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold the blanket up. I'm gonna show you guys how I do it, and then I'll show you what it looks like against this backdrop. Okay, with this part of the fabric facing up, I like to have the embroider design facing up, and then I fold this little piece under so you can see basically just the embroidered design on this part. And then I'll fold the blanket to where the edge touches the other edge, and then I'll fold it again. Just like that. And then my son's getting mad because I'm talking over his movie. And then I'll basically take photos using my phone. So this blanket was actually really easy and really fast to do. So I'm loving this blanket. I can't wait to upload it to my Etsy. Hopefully it's successful, my website and Etsy page. Alright everyone, so that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making this blanket. If you like this blanket, want to snag one for yourself or somebody else, I'm going to leave my Etsy shop down below with the 15% off coupon that you guys can use. I'll also link down my website if you would prefer to purchase it there. And I also left a code for you guys to be able to get free shipping. Well, that's it for today, guys. Make sure to go ahead and like this video, and if you want to see more of my embroidery designs, and if you want to see some other sewing projects that I do, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to upload between 2 to 3 videos a week. I'm also trying to reach 200 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so please make sure to subscribe. I'm so close. I'm only like 49 subscribers away from reaching my goal, so please, please, please make sure to subscribe.
and I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.